Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sarah Malik. I am lecturer, Department of English, ISP Multan. I hope you all will be happy and healthy and taking a great care of yourselves in this pandemic situation. I welcome you all in another episode of Lingua Literaria. Today, our topic of discussion is again communication skills, but this time with a different perspective. Actually, this show is in continuation with the previous one. In the last show, we have discussed listening and speaking skills, but the focus of today's show will be on reading and writing skills. Before starting our discussion, I would like to introduce to you people the concept of reading and writing. Reading is a cognitive process that involves decoding symbols to make meaning out of the words. If reading is done with the purpose, it helps the reader to arrive at a particular conclusion, and he or she can relate information to a particular text. On the other hand, if we talk about the writing is an art of composing a text. It not only involves writing words on the page, but it is also a way by which we convey our thoughts to the readers. It means whatever you write on the page should be comprehensible to the readers. So we will connect our discussion with the previous show. So I am honored with the presence of Ms. Kamar Sumara. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your presence. And another guest that we are having today on show is Ms. Farzana. Ma'am, welcome to the show again. So my first question is from Ms. Kamar. Ma'am, kindly tell me, because the topic of our discussion is reading and writing skills. So according to you, what are the major benefits of the reading that students think that why they should read? So what are the benefits behind it?
Okay, thank you so much, Sarah. First of all, before moving into the depth of our topic, that is reading and writing skill, again, two correlated and associative skills we are talking about today. The decoding skill, reading, is taken as an ability to assign meaning for getting the interpretation or understanding of the given text which is in written form. So it means it seems to be easy that you can understand whatever it is written onto the paper, but you know it well that keeping all the words in your mind while reading and getting the meanings of it as well are both difficult jobs. Why? Because students take it burden. They do not go for the reading stuff of any kind, like even not for a newspaper where just headlines can give you more idea about anything. Fine. About it, this is what one perspective, and about the other, that is your textual books or the notebooks or the notes which we provide, or the students get it by themselves for their reading stuff, especially for the examination. Well, that seems to be more difficult job to get what they should take from it. I mean, to get the main idea of that given text to be extracted is the most difficult job for a student. So getting into this one field of reading skills, we should know that what benefits we could have from this one burdenized skill on our brain or on our memory. Fine. In this respect, I remember one phrase that a book is a dream that you hold in your hand. So it means when you open a book, it means it gives you a chance to talk about not only about the writer itself, but also the text which is written inside it. Fine. Getting the benefit from all those points given by the writer is one way that you can take up or take in. Fine, inside your personality that makes you authentic person to talk about something. So for me, benefits of reading are much more, but to cut them into short, it gives the linguistic comprehensibility or linguistic ability to the students, in which a student can have a benefit to get more and more vocabulary bank for getting more and more words. And number two, the grammar could be stronger. Why? Because they claim that their grammar is not good. That's why the ultimate response of reading is writing. This is what we have already said, that they claim that they do not have they do not have sufficient vocabulary and then proficiency in grammar. Both of the things can be improved just by reading. I mean, not listening can give them that comprehensibility or that ability. Second thing that gives them a benefit is to sharpen their memory and brain functions. Means when you revise or when you make something a part of your brain, it strengthens the ability of your memorization. So these two things are the most important areas of our students to keep in mind, rather than many other benefits. Fine, we have cut them short into this one, that comprehensibility of a text can be taken with the help of linguistic competency as well as memorization. This is the two benefits they can have through reading process. Whatever they are reading, it's up to them.
So when you are reading, it is like when students are reading, they can also develop their analytical skills. They can connect multiple sources of text they are reading, and they can also make their own opinion related to those texts. But it is a general observation. The students, even they want to read, they find certain problems. Like sometimes they lack interest. There are other multiple reasons that they don't like to read, even if they want, but they don't like it. So that is actually, dichotomy. So it is also a general observation that students find a lot of problems. So Ma'am Farzana, kindly address those problems which are faced by the students regarding their poor reading skills.
Okay, as reading is a process, it involves recognition of words, interpretation and critical evaluation for getting deeper meaning from the text. So students can face problems at any level. That's why there are multiple technical and general reasons behind poor reading skills of the students. First and foremost is insufficient vocabulary of the students. Actually, vocabulary involves getting meaning from the words while reading text, and a student cannot comprehend the text without understanding meaning from the passage. And basic reason behind poor vocabulary is lack of interest in listening and reading, because these two are receptive skills and students do improve their vocabulary through reading and listening. As they don't have interest, that's why they are not developing and improving their vocabulary and they are facing problem in reading. Well, the second reason is poor pronunciation of students. Actually, reading involves pronunciation of words and understanding of the content. So if one is weak in pronunciation, then he or she will face difficulty in pronouncing certain words while reading, and definitely he will lose interest in reading, which will ultimately result in poor reading skill. Related to this problem, the other reason is poor fluency of students. Fluency actually means accuracy and speed of a student's reading, and good fluency makes the reading more pleasurable and less stressful. But if student has poor fluency, then definitely he will not comprehend the text properly. So this is the other reason. Another reason is poor reading techniques. For becoming a good reader, it's important one must have awareness about all reading types and reading strategies. But unfortunately, our students at initial level are not properly taught about different types of reading, like intensive reading, extensive reading, silent reading and loud reading. Similarly, when we talk about reading strategies, students are not familiar with the reading strategies properly, like skimming, scanning, previewing and predicting. They cannot properly infer the meaning of certain words while reading the text. That's why they are facing the problems of reading skill. Another major reason is lack of interest of the students. Lack of interest and motivation. This is largely due to the culture of cramming in our society. Students are more pro towards cramming. They rely more on, instead of textbook, they rely more on notes and key books. That's why they are facing problems. They cram the notes, key books and they produce that in their exams. But they don't focus on reading. They don't have interest in developing their reading skills. That's why they are facing problem. Last but not least, falling culture of reading in our society.
Yes, that's the main thing I think,
Yes.
believe.
Unfortunately, in our society, the culture of reading has almost become non-existent. It is considered that reading is specifically limited to academics and education, not for entertainment and pleasure. But in the past, reading was the source of entertainment and pleasure. Students were used to buy books, storybooks and novels for entertainment. But today it has been replaced by technology and social networks. Students read only one book with full concentration, which is Facebook. They don't have interest in
Exactly.
reading novels, storybooks, articles, newspapers and other books. That's why they are struggling with the reading issues.
Yes, that's actually the reason I believe. And it happens normally if we see around the students, they are not having books in their hands, rather they are having mobile phones and taking selfies and doing a lot of things on the mobile phones. It's like the world has been compacted in that small device. So that is also one of the reasons, but they can also make it, make a useful use of it. Like they can also use mobile phones to read the books, they read the articles. They can also make it in that sense, make use of in that sense. So we have discussed the major reasons the students face in regarding the reading skills. So there must be some solutions, some strategies that the students should adopt, because we are discussing for the benefit of the students. So strategies should also be discussed. So ma'am, please tell us the strategies that you think students should adopt in order to improve their reading skills.
Okay, like as usual, inside my classrooms, I compel my students to go for reading whatever I provide to them, whether it's a textual book or it's a kind of notes or whatever. I mean, whatever the stuff you provide. The lacking area, which Ms. Farzana has already pointed out, that the students have not been properly guided that how they should tackle all those stuff of reading. A student must know that how to cook that recipe. You just provide the ingredients. So taking that into their grip, they must apply some techniques which are skimming, scanning, inference, again silent reading, loud reading, whatever they know or whatever they believe to go for. Going into the depth of all these techniques, I would like to mention first that before applying all those techniques onto any text, they must be known that what is the reason that they are reading any text. And this leads us towards two major kinds of reading skills. This is intensive and extensive. Fine. And when we talk about extensive reading, this is all about to get the main idea of the text, which can be taken just while finding the main contents of the given text or the main headlines like of the newspaper, or just by looking the title of anything. Fine, you can get the whole idea that what it is talking about just by having an overview of the given text. And intensive reading is totally opposite to it, that is totally word by word reading, to which we compel to our students, and they definitely should go for it if they have limited knowledge, if they have limited information. But for higher classes or for high level, we compel them to go for skimming first, then scanning, means they should know for which idea they are looking for, that is skimming, and then scan your information for which particular information they are going for. So it means moving from skimming to scanning, that technique must be mastered by the students within the classrooms. Within that scenario, we have Sq3r method, if you are aware about it. Sq3r stands for survey, S stands for survey, Q stands for the questions that should be raised from the given text, that how, when, where, why that text has been produced, means like all WH questions are included. And 3R means read the text now. Survey means just to get an overview. WH question stands for getting the in-depth study of the text, means why they are reading. And now to find out the answer of all W's, they should have to go for the 3R's, that is reading, read, recall and recite, or recall and then revise, means whatever they read they must recall, and then when they recall they must revise within their brain. This is what I was talking about, that it's all about the game of your memory. How much do you memorize after reading any kind of text? And another technique is inference, that means making a guess of the meaning of any difficult words if you find in the given text. Fine. And inference takes you towards guess, and guess could be 50% right or 50% wrong. So it means what? It does mean that while reading your text, do not indulge yourself into the meanings of the words which are difficult for you. Make a contextual meaning by yourself, but make it authentic, or create your authentic knowledge after watching it or after consulting that particular word with your dictionary. That is very important. Means inference does not mean that you just have to make a guess again and again and you are moving onto the same parameters. You should have to confirm that whatever you have guessed, whether that was right or wrong. Fine. And last but not the least is paying attention towards the striking features of the given text that leads you towards your specific or the main content of the given text. These are few of the strategies which students can apply while reading the text, and they can have, they can find wonders. They can pay less attention and less time to read any kind of text if they just focus on the striking features. Let me know that that's the truth. This is what we are applying on daily basis. Fine. And we ask our students to go for that. Why? Because it is important for them to go for speed reading. Silent reading for speed reading, both are important for them.
Okay, ma'am, what about the interest? How students can develop interest in reading? That is, I think, the voice of many students who do not find interest in reading long texts. So how can they develop interest?
Interest can not be developed as you see the length of the text. It can be created only by the way that which area is your favorite one. Like for example, I provide you one example over here. I never opened or I never read newspaper from the very first page of it. That is all about the political news. I always try to open my sports page, which I like the most. I would like to open the international news. So everyone has his own particular interest area. So it means define yourself. This is what I was talking about. Anticipate for which you are looking for. What is your focus point? Your focus makes your reading process quite easier for you, rather than you are, finding yourself into the ocean of the world of knowledge. It's more than impossible if you, having a number of things in your mind and you're looking for each and everything. Specify yourself, specify your intention to locate your own personal information. This is important.
All right. So a fruitful discussion and interesting discussion, I must say, is going on regarding reading skills. But there is a lot more to discuss about writing skills of the students, that how they can improve, what are the problems faced by them. But it's time for a short break. We will be right back.
Institute of Southern Punjab Multan, the largest and pioneer degree awarding institute in South Punjab region.
Sometimes it's not the lack of ability, but the lack of confidence that prevents us from achieving what we really want.
Nothing holds us back more than the insecurities that we all have.
But here's the good news. Confidence is a skill and we can learn it. We are bringing you a show dedicated to confidence.
Experts will talk about on how we can get rid of all the limitations and barriers that we face
and become the most confident person. So are you ready to achieve whatever you want to?
So are you ready to unravel the dreams that are within you?
This is ISP Studio, and welcome to Confidence Lounge.
Welcome back after the break. as we have already discussed that reading is an important skill, but writing, I believe, is the most important of all. So without reading, we cannot think about writing. Writing is an art, which means that you need to be an artist in order to write a very good text, but for that, you need to have some background in the form of reading some text. But there are also problems faced by the students regarding their writing skills. We will discuss about it. Ma'am Farzana, kindly tell us the problems faced by the students regarding improving their writing skills.
Actually, as reading is an art, similarly writing is also an art. So writing is also a process which involves certain component skills. And for becoming a good writer, one must have competency in all skills such as writing mechanics, reading comprehension, analyzing ideas, planning strategies, communicating ideas clearly and concisely, using literary devices effectively, and finally, organizing the ideas cohesively. So this is the complete process of writing. These all are the competencies. So if student is lacking any of these competencies, we can say he or she has poor writing skills. So problems of writing are also related to these competencies. First and foremost problem is actually insufficient linguistic proficiency, which includes grammar, punctuation, spelling, vocabulary. So our students are actually taught grammatical rules even at initial level. But at university level, I have observed students are facing problems of grammar. They cannot construct the sentence properly. They have poor vocabulary issues. They are facing the problems of punctuations as well. That's why due to insufficient linguistic proficiency, they are facing difficulties in writing. Another major issue or major reason is actually poor reading habits. For becoming a good writer, one must be a good reader. So one must have good reading habits. It is very important. And actually for writing, one needs sufficient knowledge which can be obtained through reading. As students have no interest in reading, so they cannot improve vocabulary, sentence structure, they cannot gain knowledge. That's why they face problem in writing. Another point is lack of ideas. For creative writing, ideas are required. But as students have no interest in reading, they cannot obtain ideas. They cannot generate ideas while writing creatively. Another major issue is actually the culture of cramming. In our society, majority of the students are taught answers to the questions. They are not taught how to write answers. So students can cram complete books, notebooks, and even the notes and key books, but they cannot write creatively and independently. And related to this, they don't have motivation to improve their creative writing skills because they rely more on cramming, and they are getting also good scores through cramming. That's why they don't want to improve their creative writing skills. And along with this lack of practice, writing is not specifically limited to grammatical rules. It means expressing ideas correctly, concisely, cohesively, and effectively. For writing, certain techniques are required, certain devices are required. But students unfortunately are not properly taught those techniques and devices. They don't have opportunities to practice those devices independently and how to write actually creatively. And finally, lack of motivation and interest, as I already mentioned. All these are the problems behind poor writing skills of the students.
All right, ma'am. As you mentioned that students lack practice of writing, that is one of the main reasons that they cannot write effectively. And I think this is true, as we have also witnessed it in the form of their scripts when they come in front of us, when they write a paper. So I also want my students to improve their writing skills. So ma'am, what are the techniques that you would recommend to the students, that what strategies they should adopt in order to improve their writing skills, not only writing reflectively, but also how to write or how to answer analytical questions in the exams, particularly when there is an online exams being conducted around the world. So there, the mode of questions had been changed. Students need to answer questions analytically, and they have to, gather different aspects of the topic from different sides. So what you would recommend for them?
Okay, with this perspective, as you have raised, thing is, writing is painting of my voice. So while talking about this one sentence or one line, it does mean that whatever I think, I write it onto the paper. And it does mean that writing is just a flow of your thoughts to be written onto the paper.
Exactly.
Again, you cannot write if you don't think. Don't you believe? So making your writing process easy, which seems to be really difficult for every student in every age and at every time, even at the highest level where you are, wherever you are studying, and even the lowest part of your education, from nursery up till the highest level, you are facing an issue of writing your draft or writing something about any specific topic. Why? Because again, insufficient knowledge or information is the biggest hurdle in this one line. So writing process can be made easy only through the way that how should you improve your writing skills, which needs to understand the whole mechanism of that writing. Unfortunately, again, this is one thing which has not been taught. We have not been taught that how should we write. We are directly compelled to write something onto the paper, right? And this is what we expect from our students, that they should be the best writers inside our classes, but we should have to work on it. And developing that writer's strength or writer's skill, we should have to develop their brainstorming skill. Now, what is brainstorming? Brainstorming is the way that how should they collect their all ideas about related topic, and then they have to make an outline from those brainstormed ideas in a jumbled form or in an organized form. Ultimately, when the ideas are, entitled in the form of an outline, they might be processed that outline into the processing writing. It means they can easily write the draft, whatever the topic has been available to them or has been given to them. So, for talking about the process of writing, they should be taught that how to brainstorm, number one, how to make an outline, very, very, very important area. And number three, after writing something like any paragraph or coherent paragraph where they have to connect their all thoughts, they must have to look for what they have organized. Means whatever writing those drafting ideas, they must have to organize chronologically their all ideas. The information must be logically connected with one another. This is what we call technically in our linguistic language as coherence and cohesiveness of the text. Fine. So it means that organization is needed for the students to be known. This is what again the most lacking area in our education system. We have been compelled to directly to write down an essay rather than to teach them that writing an essay is your self-built writing. It is what I think. You must not have to cram from some other way or from some other text. It is all about what you think about some topic. And even after organizing and writing the draft, the most important thing in this regard is to proofread whatever you have written. Means you must be the reader of your document by yourself rather than someone other is evaluating it. So this is what important in this regard. After that, the general problems of your writing mechanics, as you mentioned, as Ms. Farzana has mentioned, that vocabulary or spelling mistakes, the grammatical errors, the syntactic problems or the semantic problems or the pragmatic issues related to our linguistic competency in writing skills, this can be resolved only through your high speed reading. Means reading is the inculcated ideology within your writing. How authentic, how good writer you are, this is told only through your read stuff, read books or whatever you have read in your life. Means my degree cannot speak. This is what I was talking in last show as well. Your degree does not tell everybody that how much competent you are. It's your skill that tells everybody. It's your spoken skill that is productive. It's your writing skill the most evaluated or the most important skill in our education system on which we have been evaluated yet. Although there are many issues again, although much emphasized, most importantly given the instructions at our school level, at college level or at university level, still there are many deficiencies within the teaching methodologies, unfortunately, which I have to address, and we will talk about it if we get some time in some other day. Thing is, teaching methodologies, we should have to focus that how should we have to assess our student. And we are assessing our students through the tests inside the classroom, quizzes, their assignments, whether online or physical, both scenarios have been dealt with us in both physical classrooms and then online classes. And then the last but not the least and the most important area is their online papers. What should I say? The most weakest and the most strongest part you can play in your educational career is your examination system, which is online. Fine. So what is the most problematic area, that how to deal the analytical questions in this respect, because dealing with analytical questions is not as much easy as you are doing it on physical behalf. Why? Because the question is an open book question. The questions we are asking from them has no answer anywhere until and unless obviously some expert is going to help you out.
With different texts.
Yes, with different texts. And this is what we want their ideology to be picked out or their ideologies to be found out about some specific topic. This is not written somewhere. This is what known as open book question.
They are actually asking their opinions related to that topic. That is why it becomes difficult for them to find the answer.
Yes, and this is what I'm talking about, that if you don't learn them that how, or you do not teach them, being the teachers, that how to resolve the problem given in an open book question, they won't be able to solve it. And this would be the weakest area in their writing skills to be developed. And this is the greatest hurdle, I believe, because a student who cannot write a single paragraph after getting the master's degree or the bachelor's degree, he must have or she must have to think about the degree he is credited or he is taking from any kind of institute. That's all about the writing to be emphasized, because you are being judged on this most important skill among all other 4 skills. And you see, the writing skill is a combination of the proficiency of all other trio skills, like your listening skills, your speaking skills, your reading skills, and then you come on to the level of the proficiency to write something.
Okay, ma'am, I totally agree with what you have said regarding techniques of writing skills, and I hope students will also get benefit from the suggestions that you both have given. And thank you so much for your presence, ma'am Qamar Sumaira and ma'am Farzana Khan. Reading is important, but I think writing is the most important of all. So writing without reading is not possible. As Francis Bacon says, reading makes a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. So I believe and I hope this show will be of great benefit not only to the students but also to the researchers, learners, and also teachers. We will see you in another episode with another topic, another interesting topic. Till then, Allah Hafiz.